Hello Capricorn, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Cappuccinos, Capricorns, all good things, my friends. We're gonna see what you need to release to receive. That's what it's all about. So, disengage, stop doing something so that something else can come into your life from the universe. We are going to do that with my archetype deck, Rebel. So maybe you're gonna like buck the system, honey. I don't know. And then we're gonna do the El Key deck and the Wizard's Tarot. Let's see, Capricorn. Let's see if really, she's on guard duty. She was barking a minute ago. See how she sits there? Yeah, you're on guard duty, Lily? That's a good girl. Yeah, what's going on out the window? Everything is okay? All right. She's gonna go to the GROOMER in about 2 hours. We don't say that word out loud in this house, but she's gonna look and feel better. All right, Capricorn, release and receive. I should do like a before and after of her. She's so fluffy right now, but she's getting hot in the house, so it's not good. All right, Capricorn, release and receive for Capricorn. What's this? Release the prostitute. The way these come out, it sounds so funny. You know what? Stop being a pimp. So actually, like, Capricorn would feel like, I was gonna archetype the pimp. I might say Capricorn. Anyways, I'm just digging myself a hole here, aren't I? Okay, so this accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. So release this. It's funny, this came up, this was Gemini, but they had I think it was receiving. So it kind of felt like they were going to go into a situation where they might kind of negotiate a part of their soul for some sort of monetary gain or some sort of physical comfort even perhaps. And this is kind of like you're letting it out. You're letting it go. Bye-bye, so long, farewell, honey. So Capricorn, you might be taking a slight financial hit to elevate your soul here, to free your soul from something, which actually is very Capricorn considering your card is the devil in the tarot. So it's all about that, right? Like it's about negotiating things in our life and how much of ourselves we negotiate down to receive, sometimes money or monetary gain or even social status and things like that. So it's a very interesting card that you're going to let that go. You're being asked to release it. Get ready to receive. Wow, the Father. That's interesting. Talent for creating and supporting life. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit. I feel like you're about to go through a really big archetypal shift. We're going to see how the cards continue to unfold. Sometimes I feel like because there's cards in this archetype deck that remind me a bit of like court cards in the tarot, and this is one of them. So it could be a person that's coming towards you. This person could be a father. But what I see, like just on the surface and quickly with 2 cards out in your entire reading, is that you were likely at least going to contemplate, because it does say in my spread, the universe wishes for you to release so that you may receive from the universe. So you're going to contemplate and you may do it. It could be like passing up a promotion. It would give you a little bit more money, but you would have less time at home with your family, or, something like that. And that's interesting too, because what you would receive is maybe more time with your family with this card. And if you're a parent, then that would be more time with your kids. So that's really an interesting energy. We'll see how, like I said, it develops. It could be a person coming into your life. Oh, what is this at the bottom? Bully. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others. Helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. The shadow conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. This message is not for everyone, but it is for someone. So because you have the bully as the underline here, and you have the prostitute, and I said, like, release the prostitute. So there is like this womanly figure here. It could be somebody that you have some sort of holdover, even like through money. Like I said, it's not for everyone, and it might just be one person. Maybe we do have a pimp in the reading, I don't know. You never know who you're going to get in, guys, right? So we got to say what we got to say. So this is somebody that you could have a hold on through money, and you could be bullying them with that to release it. And then I feel like if this would, because now we have, again, this masculine energy. It's not to say that feminines can't own and prostitute other women, but most of the time it's masculine energy. And then this is becoming a father. This is actually really doing something that's supporting life in a very positive way. So that's that. So that's enough messages for the pimp. We're going to the El Key deck. It's true. You don't know who you're going to read for when it's a worldwide forum. And hopefully we can invoke change in all of the human traffickers and pimps out there. Okay. I'm going to pull a card for each one of these, and we're going to see how this continues to develop. It's different layers of story, of reading. She who persists, perspective, defiant, persistence. Oh man. Okay, and then the receive, she who stands, resolute, implacable, and determined. So, or they who. We'll say they who persists and they who stands. Okay. This is something, it's something you have to fight for. This has a real Saturn energy around it. Like, it really, it reeks Capricorn, 10th house. Just like, okay. Because even the whole idea of prostitution is something that really is kind of like in a public place. You have to well, unless, I think that's more like call girls or gigolos. You phone them and they come to your place. I don't know how that works. I'm just thinking, like, to me, I'm seeing like a prostitute is somebody that is out in the open. Right? So somebody who's out in the open, in the public, your public, how the public views you, your public notoriety, I believe that's connected to the 10th house. And, like, just negotiating with the devil in a hole and trying to, persistence and perseverance are big time Capricorn devil energies, like as Saturn is, yeah, there's something here, like being defiant and persisting, your perspective. This perspective is interesting. I want to say it's also to release this perspective. If you have felt taken advantage of by situations that have to do with money, to let that go, to release it. If some of you have been in relationships, whether those are business or personal relationships, where money was a negotiating tool and it was used for people to gain over you somehow, release it. I mean, if you're doing this to someone too, it's the same message. It's to let it go, it's to stop doing it. Now, so to receive the Father. Either way you look at this, the receive is very nice. Like if it's a person coming towards you, if it's a cycle that you're entering yourself and taking on this archetype. This is having a real, this person's just, they have a way of creating and supporting life, right? It's a talent. So when I think of a talent, to me instinctively, it feels like something that we're just naturally comes to us. We just know how to do it. And I feel like myself intuitively that comes from lifetimes of perfecting that skill. So when you come into a new lifetime, there's really no need to try to learn how to do it. You just do it. It's just like, it's your talent. So this person is a positive guiding light within a unit, a tribal unit, a family unit. Resolute, implacable, and determined. This person is very strong. So if this is you as well, you're taking on, would also say, because this is someone who's kind of being used and victimized, but you know, we negotiate. How do we end up in situations, you know, outside of people that are born in highly abusive, highly controlled environments where they are at an early age pushed into situations where they're negotiating their soul for money, and they haven't quite figured out, or the resources haven't come to them to release themselves from that. Outside of those people, which is a smaller group, it's when we find ourselves in this, it is kind of like a victim, like not allowing yourself to be victimized anymore, and then to be powerful and to be really like stand in your ground and stand in your power, but in a very supportive and guiding light kind of way. It could even be for some of you releasing a talent to do this that was never really released before. Like maybe you were taken advantage of in tribal or dynamic, or tribal or family dynamics. Quite the reading, Capricorn. They who listen, understand, witness, and compassion. This has the feeling of like anyone actually that you can think of whose story you know that has come from maybe poverty or abuse, and they've worked through it, they find themselves on the other side of it, and instead of, you know, being a controller or an abuser, they turn that around and they utilize it in a way to recognize when other people are in difficult situations. They understand where that's coming from, and they could provide the support, or at least the ability for other people to feel seen. Yeah, there's something really kind of nice about how this transforms, Capricorn. And the bully too, right? Like if you've been bullied, I mean, this is kind of like a form of being bullied. And again, depending on socioeconomic and status and things like that, some of it's bullying and some of it is just like, what are you gonna do? So watching on Netflix, it kind of reminds me of that. It's more like the bully in the dark part, not you guys. It's the Murdochs? Was it the Murdochs or something like that? God, like a whole bunch of like history of lawyers in the family in this smaller town, and pretty much owning the town and doing whatever they want. It's just, and this poor girl died in the boat accident, and from everything, you know, everyone has said, she seems like she was just such a sweet, innocent girl, and they acted like she was nothing. And then the devil, it's like, I think the angels got in there with the devil and made some deals to get back at them. But like that's how like people can just perpetuate this horrible negative energy. But it's almost like this becomes kind of a guiding light where you're not bullied. But where I was going with this is there are circumstances where what do? You can't go to the law and you can't go to lawyers because they're all run by the person who's doing the bad shit in town. So there are times when, how do you? And that's kind of like watching that. I think it was only 3 episodes. And I'll feel like karma and the angels are stepping in on this one. When you're going to play games with the devil like they were, you better be prepared for how the devil plays games with you. So, saying that was really strong, but it's true. You watch that shit, you're like, man, my cards won't go together. They want to shuffle this way. All right, so the first tarot card we're going to take out is the one that sits, it's going to represent what sits between these 2 points here. Just release and receive. The Knight of Wands, drive, passion, and desire. That's what sits between this prostituting your soul, releasing that, and then moving into this very solid, guiding light, determined energy. It just feels like this person is really determined to do good things and good results occur, you know, like, so I want to say, because one of the things I felt, positive guiding light within a tribal unit, talent for creating and supporting life. With this card beside it, like, I feel like this is not an energy that's afraid to utilize tough love. You have to be fairly strong to do that, right? So there's some sort of a drive. It's almost like if you've been in some sort of situation where you are kind of, you have been victimized to some degree. I mean, I don't see you showing up in your receive cycle as being the victim or anything like that. But there is some kind of like a drive to get you going into the new cycle. But I think you're going to hit it. Like, I don't think you're going to hit that drive. I don't think there's something you're going to have to search for. I need like a little mirror so I can see what's going on back there. Sometimes I go to edit the videos and I'm like, oh, Larry was back there. What was he doing? He's having a full-on bath, or he's playing with a toy, and Lily's just I had no idea this stuff is going on behind me. Wow, interesting. Well, you got the sun at the bottom. That's always a good thing. Okay, your release is easy. I'm not sure about the receive, the tarot cards anyways. So you have the Five of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Two of Wands. This is definitely taking yourself out, like manifesting your way, working your way out of perhaps some sort of financial constraints here, and dreaming about tomorrow. So I want to say it's not losing hope. I mean, when hope is lost, all is lost. If that's all you've got left, at least you got that. But so there is something here. With the Two of Wands, there is hope. And that is kind of like the driving force, I would say, in this release. Hope is the release. Because with hope, without hope, and this energy, I feel like there would be a bitterness and anger. I mean, it's possible that these things would still occur, but those not to be the permanent kind of feelings that are stuck on someone after whatever this is. So it's hope. It's manifesting hope out of very little, or feeling isolated. And I say that too, like this is a difficult card to pull because it does evoke things where I feel like people are being taken advantage of in situations that are like pimping them or trafficking them. So even in that, like, people can feel isolated because they're suddenly disconnected or feel fearful for their lives to reach out to something that could help them. So that's understood. That's easy. Now, okay, this receive, you have the Hangman, the Four of Swords, and the Page of Swords. It's definitely taking time for a perspective here. What is this that you're receiving? This is a cycle of a person, because honestly, I want to say it feels more like it could be a person with the tarot cards. There's this sense of like watching, or like waiting, observing, and watching. And I mean, that could be something that you're going to be doing too. Like giving relationships and people around you the space to be themselves and, you know, just kind of see how you feel. With the Four of Swords, there's something about resting and healing here. I want to really say, like, I feel like whatever this receive is for you, they kind of symbolize cycles too. It's a cycle of a lot of contemplation. Like really seeing what's going on around you and resting. Seeing what's going on around you and resting. And in doing that, though, you're also being very supportive. This is a very supportive, solid energy. There's the female cardinal. I never see the male anymore. I hope something happened to him. Oh, she's gone again. They're a little bit nervous because a little hawk came in. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Oh, come on in. All right, let's look at, what am I looking at first? Let's look at the prostitute. How have you been prostituting yourself here? Right, you know what I mean? Oh, whoa. You have the Four of Wands, the Ten of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. I kind of want to say this looks like you're the one who carries the weight in a relation, emotionally in a relationship. This could be like a marriage. This could be like friends that you get together with a lot, but you carry the weight, the emotional weight and baggage of the relationship. You could be sacrificing things that you would like to pursue, that you love, and you haven't done that. You're sacrificing it in the name of something else, like some sort of physical gain here. And persistent in this. So, but this is the release. Why so persistent? When I get repeat, got the Hangman and the Four of Swords together again. You have the Empress, the Four of Swords, the Hangman, and the Two of Cups. You're persistent. Because you haven't lost hope. Let's say that. Because you haven't lost hope. If this has to do with personal relationships, and it's funny, it feels a little bit like the Gemini reading. If you find that interesting at all, like the idea of, you know, the different ways that we negotiate ourselves, little parts of ourselves for physical gains in life, you might find it interesting because it's there's a bit of that energy that you have here in this reading, but there's a sense of like not losing hope, and they're receiving prostitute and you're getting rid of it. So the Five of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and the Two of Pentacles. There's a sense of, I guess, determination here that I would pick up with the Queen of Wands. The determination and, right, the Two of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. You don't have a lot to work on here. You don't have a lot to work with, but doing the best that you can with what you have to work with. Making difficult choices. Getting by day. And I don't want to say there's anything wrong with prostitution. It's legal in some places, and it's the oldest, what is it? The oldest job in the world. So it's pimping it. Not your body being sold. You shouldn't be making any money off of it. So anyways, I always have to put my little excerpts in there, right? It makes it so interesting and controversial in the comments. So the Magician, but true. The Magician, the King of Wands, and the Page of Swords. Okay, there's something going on here where you have sacrificed yourself in relationships. You've carried, you've sacrificed yourself emotionally here. You've invested into relationships in a way that it leaves you feeling like you're carrying the weight of everything. So, you know, maybe you're affectionate in relationships and other people are not. Maybe you do things out of the goodness of your heart and other people don't. They have our ulterior motives. And I really just see like there's a fierce desire for, I would say, perhaps also independence with the King, Queen of Wands, and even finding, with the Page of Swords, it's like looking out. The Page of Swords, looking out for perhaps a counterpart that can be equal to you, because you have the Two of Cups as well, right, with the Hangman. So the Two of Wands, the Five of Swords, and the World card. Well, if there's something that you're trying to cut out, if you're trying to cut out the pimp, cut it out. You ended that cycle. It's been cut out. I want to say too, with where this is going, it's because it's almost like you could say like hope or just, you know, daydreams about the future is over. And I'm not seeing anything toxic to indicate that you just give up. You're just giving up. I kind of feel like, well, maybe like with this card too, that there's a drive and a desire to create things, because this Knight of Wands is elevated from the Two of Wands. It's way elevated from that. All right, so the Father, you're receiving the Father. That's because of like a very godly energy, and actually Saturn is the Father. Ooh, the Eight of Swords is a difficult one to get to. Jeez. Oh, it's got Saturn all over it. This is not the easy road, but it is the rewarding road, right? Right, Capricorn? Y'all know that. Resolute, implacable, and determined. Whoa, the Nine of Pentacles, the Six of Swords. There's that fierce determination for sovereignty. And that's honestly what, I guess, in almost anything that we negotiate the power of our spirit is like always reclaiming that. One of the things I talked about in the Gemini, if I remember correctly, was like we negotiate. Breaking Bad, that series came up with that because he did, and it's kind of like that, right? Like you can negotiate your soul because you feel like I have no other way through. This is the only way I can see. It's not legal, it's not moral, but I gotta do it. I gotta do it to survive. I'm on Earth, so you start doing it. But then it's like, I want to say it's almost like the angels or something divine comes in and says, all right, yeah, we know you signed this contract with the devil. It's not the best contract, honey. You should have got us to look at it before you signed it. But that's what you're at now. We're going to put in a couple of little cross-outs, initials, and subheadings so that you can like kind of get yourself out of this a little bit. But your ego is the only thing we ask you to negotiate, which is what happened in Breaking Bad. That was like what he had to negotiate to get out of what he was doing, and he never would do it, which means he continues to be kind of, he's still negotiating his soul, right? The power of his soul. So when I see that with the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Swords, it's like there's no negotiation here. So the Hanged Man. The High Priestess, the Three of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. Wow. You know, this is kind of like coming out on the other end, knowing some really deep shit about life. Because with the High Priestess and the Ace of Wands, that just feels like knowledge. Like deep hidden knowledge. The kind of knowledge that, you know, you can write stories, poems, songs, movies, books in. Esoteric truths hidden in reality. Or hidden in story too. But the Three of Swords is like the hard parts of that. And negotiating your soul, yeah, is your spirit. There's no negotiating there. That's what I like about this. There's no negotiating your soul in this one. Nuh-uh. No money can buy your soul in this one. The Four of Swords. Justice. Waiting for justice. Healing injustice. Wow. Healing injustice. Interesting how that came out, isn't it? It was supposed to be like healing in justice. But it came out like healing injustice. See how that works? It all depends on where the words sit. If you got commas, that's pretty interesting. That's what this is. When your soul cannot be negotiated, you are healing injustice as the one word. Page of Swords. The Nine of Swords and the Star. The only thing that you need to work on coming out on the other end is the psychological ramifications of whatever it is you've been through, right? The Nine of Swords and the Star. So healing this, the Page. So, okay, what's this Knight of Wands? I'm not done yet. The Knight of Wands. Your way to happiness, my friend. It's your way to happiness. It's your drive. It's your freedom. I love these. The wands are really coming up as like determined sovereignty, I guess. Yeah. Bully. The King of Swords, the Tower, the Five of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. This feels like breaking the rules, changing the rules, you know? With these two here, the Knight, the King of Swords, and then the Tower, that feels like breaking the rules. Ah, right? Like the Murdoch thing that I talked about. Because they were bullies. They were using the law in their favor against everyone else around them. So the angels came in and broke that rule. You should go watch that shit. Just like sitting there going, these people are scum. Anyways. I have a lot of fun to watch things like that with, oh, those people are scum. Scum, look at them. The Five of Wands and the Knight of Wands. And it doesn't matter who doesn't agree with you. It's like, you're pushing forward, you're pushing forward. Also feels a bit like I'm getting all this archetypal energy of that. The pharmacist. That's another archetype the world needs. The literal pharmacist. This guy, he lost his son to an overdose. And he fought tooth and nail. Nobody else would. He put his life into, he didn't give a shit. He had nothing to lose anymore. To him, he lost his son. I don't care if you shoot me. I'm done anyways. But what am I going to do with the time I have here? I'm going to change this shit. I'm going to make it known. That's what that feels like. With the King of Swords, the Tower, and the Five of Wands, and the Knight of Wands, I'm changing the rules because the rules aren't right, and I'm breaking them down, and I don't care who puts up a fight. Ooh, that was like, that all rhymed. You play that back. I think someone can turn that into a damn fine incantation, and we could change the world with that one. Do it for good, don't do it for wrong. The Sun. The Chariot. Well, you're on your way to happy days. Monday, Tuesday, happy day. Understanding, witness, and compassion. The Seven of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. You know, sometimes you gotta be sneaky. Sometimes you gotta be sneaky. Judgment. Let God be your judge and no one else. Well, you should judge yourself too. Look at yourself well sometimes. That is very interesting, Capricorn. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to look at what motivates you at this time. What are you most anxious about? I'm going to look at a couple of areas for advice and then likely outcomes if you follow the advice. Thank you so much, Capricorn. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.